All right, so for my presentation, I'm evaluating how the nutrition trends of the US have evolved over the past 60 years and how, as a result, the overall health of the US population has been affected. So, this graph below illustrates how the obesity rates of the US have risen over that 60-year period, starting back in 1960, where only 15% of the US population was considered obese, to how it's increased to modern day, where now one third of the population of the US is considered obese. So, one thing that I think this graph does a really good job at is showing the diversity of the data that was collected by showing the different age groups of both men and women from which this data was collected. I really like that because it shows how obesity isn't necessarily an issue that affects one age group, but instead affects the whole spectrum from people who are aged 20 to the 60. One thing that I believe this graph could work on is that it doesn't really have a clear label that says what this graph is displaying. You really need to look at the axis titles to determine what this data is displaying and what message it's trying to get across. So I think if it had a nice central label that says necessarily what this data is showing, that would be great. And then while it does show the different age groups of both men and women and how the obesity rates are affected, I think that it should also include what regions this data was collected from. Because the US population, the different regions of the US have different rates of obesity. So I think if it also included that in that central title, it would improve the effectiveness of this graph greatly. Thank you.